Christian. And so, I'd never read the Bible, and I was probably less than a year old in the Lord, and I had read through at least the New Testament once, and I had this naive thinking. Oh, now I know Jesus. My sins are forgiven. I'm on my way to heaven. He really loves me. Isn't life great? Life is fair. Life is wonderful. And if you do good and wonderful things and obey God, life will be good to you. And I was about 19 years old in a Bible study with two other close friends, and we got serious about our faith, and we were growing. And this fella came from a rural area, and so he rode, instead of the 10-speed type bikes, he rode the kind of bikes. Remember the old kind of bikes where you would push down on the pedal? In fact, they're coming back, those cruisers, that's how you stop. Well, he got with a buddy, and they were both on the wrestling team in college, and they were West Virginia, real high winding roads. I mean, hairpin turns, and they would go down very fast. And Sunday afternoon, they decided, hey, let's take a bike ride. And my buddy Frank and Bob are out riding on their bikes, and they get going very fast, and they're athletes, and it's kind of fun. And a hairpin turn comes up. And so Frank instinctively does that, except it's handbrakes. And by the time he reaches up, he's got such speed going, it's a hairpin turn going around like that. He misses the turn. The bike goes over the embankment about 30 or 40 feet in the air. He goes headlong into a house. It severs his spinal cord. And by the time my friend Bob makes it, he's not breathing. Bob pounds on his chest, gives him mouth to mouth. And a couple hours later, 30 of us are listening between that little thin curtain, that they have in the emergency room, and hearing our buddy scream, just scream bloody murder. And the guy says, I'm sorry, we can't give you anything right now. We've got to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And he kept screaming, I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs. And after 3 or 4 hours, the doctor comes out and he says, we're really sorry. The internal bleeding is so severe. There's no hope for your friend. And we didn't know better. We were brand new Christians. And so we went up to the little chapel at church that they had, one of those interfaith chapels on a state campus. And 30 of us got together and said, you know what, we're not going to eat. And we're going to pray until God does something. And for the next 3 days, we rotated shifts. And we had 30 kids, and all we did is pray and fast and ask God to save Frank's life. And about a day and a half or 2 days into it, we got a call that said, we don't understand. The internal bleeding has stopped, and Frank's going to live. And I got to tell you that you weren't supposed to go in the hospital, and I wasn't next of kin, even though we were brothers. And so I would wait until the nurse would go that direction, and then I would sneak in the hospital, and they had those circular beds, and he was upside down, and I would go and I'd lay underneath, and I'd talk to Frank. And I was so mad at God. And I was so angry. What kind of God lets this happen? Man, this is my buddy. He's in Bible study. He's loving people. He's growing. You do good things happen, right? Life's fair, right? I'm young, I'm zealous, I'm naive, and I was biblically illiterate. And I'm telling you, if you think life is fair, number one, you're theologically inaccurate, and you're pragmatically in for a very hard, difficult life. But the thing is, if you don't think clearly, then what happens is bad things happen because you start blaming God for things, and you get where you can never deal well with things because you understand that it is a fallen world. And in a fallen world, bad things happen to bad people, and bad things happen to good people. And when you do good and obey God, there is no free pass, collect $200, go. You can experience difficult. Jesus lived in a fallen world. Paul lived in a fallen world. Peter lived in a fallen world. And they exemplified what it meant to honor God and walk in righteousness. And examine the suffering they went through. And so we're going to talk about how Jesus can rebuild our broken world. But we're going to learn about what our part is and how that really works. And to start off, there's some notes. You can open it up. And what I want to do is I want to give you 3 observations about life. And if you don't get these 3 observations down clearly, I will tell you, your life will be very painful for a very, very long time. Observation number 1 is that trial